Welcome to Lake TV's Community Spotlight Show, brought to you by the great folks at COMC, Central Ozarks Medical Center, where your health is their mission. And we have got a local celebrity with us today. As you know, we've got a new guest for you here on the Spotlight Show every week, and it's JT Gerlt with us today from KS95, wearing the colors there, by golly.
Right.
It's so cool when I get to talk with somebody like you, because there's a whole generation of people that have grown up in our community that grew up listening to you every day.
It's kind of hard for me to imagine that, but yeah, I've been on the air for over 30 years here at the Lake of the Ozarks. I think I am the longest continuous full-time radio disc jockey here at the Lake of the Ozarks.
Really?
Yeah. So.
Wow, that is so cool. Did you ever have any desire to leave, to move out, or you just love this place so much you wanted to be here?
I'm kind of pretty much tied in family-wise and community-wise, and so I've just kind of figured I'm going to make this work.
Yeah,
so.
And you have.
We made it work, so
Absolutely.
yeah. So.
It's amazing. For how long? 30 years?
I started at KS95 in 1989. I started in 86 when I was in high school, working part-time at what is now Mix 92.7.
Right.
So I worked there on and off through high school, and then when KS95 started in 1989, I was one of the first people hired there and been there ever since.
Wow, fantastic. We've got a similar story, because I started working in radio in high school back in the day, and kind of the same thing.
Did you answer a help wanted ad? That's what I did.
I did not. No, I went in and bugged the program director until he finally just gave in and hired me.
We saw an ad in the newspaper, and my parents saw it and some family friends, and they said, he won't stop talking. Maybe you should get paid for that. So they sent me to this radio station, and it was what is now Mix 92.7. It was in Eldon at the time.
Yeah.
So I did a little interview and a little voice check, and they put me on the air.
Wow. So. But for you, I'm guessing it was a natural kind of a thing.
It seemed like it, yeah. In high school, I had been emceeing all of the court warming and homecoming stuff and doing things like that. And I was an FFA, and I did speeches and stuff like that. So yeah, I just kind of fell into it.
Right, so. Absolutely. So it's been a while since you started, 1989. How has radio changed over the years? What is the big differences between then and now?
It's definitely the technology, because when I started, we were still playing, they were called carts, and they were like little 8-track tapes, and they were 3 or 4 minutes long, so each one of them had a song or a commercial on it, so you were constantly loading those into the machines. Now everything's on computers. We put all the songs and commercials into the computers, and they're scheduled that way, so we just watch them and click the buttons on the computer screen, click a mouse, and start the stuff. So
we have gone through quite a transition over the years, especially in radio, but I mean, because when I started, there were still records, right? 33s and 45s.
We were still getting songs on record when I was there, 45s. The artists were sending us, I've got, I was trying to think, Alan Jackson's very first song was a song called Blue Blooded Woman, and I've got the blue 45 that they sent me in the mail to promote that song. Garth Brooks' first song was If Tomorrow Never, or too young, too old to feel this damn young, or too old yet, whatever it is.
Something like
anyway,
that.
I've still got that 45. So, we were getting 45s at that time, putting them on these carts. And then, of course, we segged into CDs and then onto the computers.
Yeah. So it's been a whole transition of technology then. And you do the morning show.
I do.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you enjoy getting up early in the morning, or is it a struggle for you?
I started out doing afternoons, and I think that's probably my natural place to be, is in the afternoon. I have a little more energy in the afternoon, but I can get up and go. So so
you just have to kind of make sure you go to bed at night, I'm guessing.
So I usually get into the station about 5 o'clock in the morning. So I got to make a concerted effort to get to bed on time at night and get a little sleep. And we do a lot of stuff in the community in the evenings and stuff like that. So I just kind of keep that in mind.
Yeah, you really do. But it's a good excuse.
I'm a serial napper.
That.
I love to nap in the afternoon.
Were you that way when you were younger?
No.
Or no, it started at a certain age, I need a nap, right? But when you're getting up at 4 in the morning, you need a nap.
Right, exactly.
Absolutely. And you host that, the country sale in the mornings, which is kind of a community, that thing is just local greatness, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that call in on that. It's a buy, sell, and trade program, and we've got a lot of our regulars that people recognize their voice, and there's some of them that by now I even almost remember their phone number. When they start talking, I can fill in their phone number before they get done, and then there's just a ton of people that listen to that show just for the entertainment value,
Yeah.
to hear what's going to be said next, what somebody's going to be selling, and trying to stump me with, I bet you've never had this before, and see if they can do that. So.
Yeah, absolutely. What's the weirdest stuff that you have ever had on that show?
The most recent one was the Dale Earnhardt casket. It was a replica Dale Earnhardt casket. It had paintings on the side of like Daytona Speedway and his car going down and stuff like that. So
Wow.
that's recent. That's one of the most recent ones. Yeah. So
How long have you been doing that?
so I filled in for a year. I've been doing the morning show now for 10 years. When some changes happened at the station, I took over the morning show. So I've been doing the morning show for about 10 years, and that's a part of that show. So filled in prior to that, but generally it's been my show for about 10 years now.
Right.
So.
Okay. So you're born and raised Morgan County, right?
Versailles grad.
Yeah.
Just like Will. So.
That's right. And so, I mean, you're like a native son up there in Morgan County.
Yeah, my parents are, my wife and I recently built a house. We have a century farm, which means it's been in our family for over 100 years. My dad's grandfather bought the land that we're on, and so it's passed down through the generations. And so my wife and I have a house there. My brother and his wife have plans to come out there sometime soon. So.
Wow, you're going to have a whole village out there.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. So we're talking with JT Gerlt of KS95, very popular morning show, and been on the air since 1989. Actually, before that,
right,
part-time when you were in high school.
Started in 86 when I was in high school.
1986. Okay, so we'll talk more with JT, find out some of this radio magic right after this. If it's happening at the lake, it's happening on Lake TV. From the polar plunge to festivals, parades, aquapalooza, and boat shows, Lake TV has it all. Even the granddaddy of them all, the shootouts. If you're looking for places to party, things to do, or even a new home to move into, you've gotta love Lake TV. At COMC, your health is our mission. Central Ozarks Medical Center is growing in our community with a new dental location to serve you in Eldon and a new location in Lori. COMC also makes your children a priority with a mobile dental unit serving schools in rural areas where access can be a challenge. COMC also offers OBGYN, sports medicine, pediatric, and behavioral health care. Get more info on how COMC can help you at centralozarks.org. COMC, where your health is our mission. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, Lake TV's got it all. We think it's hot stuff when things cool down. We spring into action when things start warming up. Of course, summer is one big, huge shootout on Lake TV. And we fall in love all over again when autumn rolls around. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, Lake TV's got it all. Welcome back to Lake TV's Community Spotlight Show, brought to you by the great folks at COMC. We're talking with local radio star JT Gerlt, KS95, the longest running local disc jockey radio personality in the area. So
I think so.
That's pretty cool. Absolutely. You've gone from hair to no hair.
Yeah, you may have some of those pictures. When I first started, I was 19 when I started at KS95. So.
Yeah. Oh, man. And what a family you've got over there in the Denny Benny family of radio stations. Just some great stations and some great people. I mean, it was like Mike Clayton's a part of that. You and Mike, he does a morning show at one of the other stations. I love the old picture of him with hair too. I mean, that's kind of funny. One of the things that sets you apart, JT, is your willingness. You're even eager to help in the local community and some of the things you do. And the thing that sticks out for me is what you do with the polar plunge every year, because you're a super plunger, and man, that is not easy, right?
Yeah, I just, the first year the plunge happened, we kind of heard about it, and I'll be honest, it was on our competitor radio station, which at that time was Mix 92.7. We weren't part of the same company, so we didn't participate. And then we kind of learned what was going on, and so I went down and participated the first year doing the single plunge, which I think was 97 was the first year I plunged. And then 10 years ago, an opening came up in the super plunge, and so I decided to do that. And we plunged 24 times in 24 hours. We start on Friday afternoon at 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then our last plunge is Saturday afternoon at 2:30.
That is crazy. Do you ever get like a cold, get sick after all those plunges?
So nothing serious after the plunge that I remember. I usually get sick before the plunge. I think it's anxiety, and my wife says I just worry so much about it that I make myself sick.
Do you dread it? Like, oh man, I got to jump in that cold water 24 times.
I don't know if I dread it, but I just get anxious for it. I just want to get it started and get going. So,
okay, but that's not the only thing. I mean, you do Lions Club, you're on the fair board, you do a whole bunch of stuff. Do you enjoy that?
Yeah, I mean, I love being a part of the community. I started doing stuff with the county fair when I was in high school, when I was in FFA, and in the media, they come to us, they ask us to do some stuff, and some of these things, once I get involved in them, I just really enjoy them. I enjoy the cause. I enjoy the people that I work with, and so that kind of just keeps me going back.
Yeah, absolutely. And you were named the Versailles Chamber of Commerce Business Person of the Year. Yeah. That's a pretty big honor.
That was a surprise. I wasn't expecting that. Yeah.
Wow.
So.
I mean, for a radio guy
right.
to be named the business person,
right.
That's pretty special.
Yeah. The Versailles Chamber of Commerce and the Versailles business community, they've got a great thing going up there. And to be picked out as one of the people, to be honored, I was surprised.
Yeah,
so, yes.
That is so cool. Okay, and the one that I love is the Secretary of the Glenstead Cemetery Association. What is that all about?
Well, so 5 generations of my family are in the cemetery by the Glenstead Methodist Church, is which where our family goes to. And so through the years, staying close to home, I've been one of the ones that's kind of been charged with helping take care of that cemetery. So,
okay. Interesting. And I'm guessing there's a huge amount of history that goes with that, right?
Yeah, our cemetery, we have Civil War veterans in the cemetery, and and like I said, several generations of my family are buried there. And so,
did you know most of them, those generations?
I mean, there's 2 or 3 generations now that I'm familiar with. It's, my grandparents are buried there. My great aunt and uncle are buried there. So, so a lot of my family that I know is buried there. So.
That's kind of neat, right?
Yeah, it is.
So do you get, now since you're mostly in radio, now that you're on TV, everybody's going to know what you look like. But, mostly radio people, the listeners don't know what you look like. They just kind of know your voice. Right?
It has changed a little bit with social media where, you're on Facebook and stuff like that all the time and they're putting stuff out. People become a little more familiar with it. But it is still amazing to me after all these years. I'll meet somebody. I always wondered what you look like. And usually it's, I thought you'd be taller and have more hair.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. That's always the one, right? Because you sound like you're 6'4".
When it started, everybody thought, I thought you'd be much older. And now it's like, no, they don't think that. They just think it's taller and more hair. So.
Do you have that radio nightmare of you either can't talk when the microphone's on or you can't get to the studio?
I don't have that dream as much anymore, but that is a dream that pops up here and there that, I can't get the door to unlock to get in the studio.
Right.
Or I can't get the buttons to push the way I want to.
Isn't it funny? Just almost everybody in radio has those dreams, those nightmares. Country music. You've worked country music your whole career, right?
Right, yeah.
You must love country music?
I do, yeah. I enjoy the music. I enjoy the artists. I've had a chance to meet a lot of them over the years and, genuine people, and they're doing a job. That's I kind of look at my thing. People call me a radio celebrity or whatever. It's just a job for me. I go in every day and do my job, and that's how a lot of them are with their. It's just what they were meant to do, and so they really enjoy it. And what I like about country music is how connected the artists are to their fans and to the radio stations. We can track a lot of them down and get them to do radio interviews. They like to meet their fans before and after the show, and I think that's cool.
Who's your favorite artist?
George Strait probably is one of my favorites. Of course, I like Garth Brooks, Dwight Yoakam, Hank Jr. Hank Jr. was probably what really got me into country music. When I was in high school, I was listening to Hank Jr. and George Strait and Alabama. So some of those people are.
Man, there's some greats that you just rolled around. Yeah. And you've gotten to meet a lot of those guys.
I've never got to meet George Strait. That's number one on my to-do list, but I've not met him. But Garth, Reba, Dwight Yoakam, Randy Travis, some of those people.
They're all great.
Yeah, exactly.
Randy or Yoakam, when he takes his hat off, looks like a completely different guy.
Exactly,
right?
Yeah.
So there's JT.
Kind of like me when I take my headphones off. So.
Absolutely. JT Gerlt of KS95. Thank you, sir, for coming by. We appreciate it. And thank you for joining us for Lake TV's Community Spotlight Show.